You will hear a university lecturer talking to his students about an architectural studies assignment. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40 on pages 7 and 8. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Okay, before this morning's lecture on successful design of public buildings, I want to draw your attention to your next assignment. So, your assignment is on public monuments, and by that I mean any structure or statue that is built to remind us of important events or of historic figures. The assignment should be divided into 3 sections. At the beginning of section 1, you should identify the monument you're examining and say why you've chosen it. Include a comment on whether you think the monument works. By that, I mean its success. You may think it's wonderful. You may think it's a public eyesore, something that people hate looking at. Next, you should also include in this first section information about where the monument was built, its geographical site, and also a discussion of its social importance, how relevant it was for the people of the time. You should also include information on when it was built, its historical background, and make sure you illustrate the assignment appropriately too. I shall expect that. Insert any plans you can find, and make sure any photographs you use have captions and are clearly referred to in the text, or they will be meaningless. To end this section, you should include something about the record of the person who designed the monument, showing how the monument relates to his or her other work. Right. In section 2 of the assignment, you'll need to give a detailed account of the design and construction of the monument. Firstly, I'll want to read about any particular influence you think is apparent in the design. More often than not, there will be something in it that links it to an established style, classical Greek, for example. Or it may reflect a movement, like Bauhaus or Art Nouveau. You decide. Secondly, I want information about the choice of materials, not only those which were used, but reasons why they may have been selected from others that were available at the time, and in the area where the designer worked. Next, I'll want to mention of any particular skills that were necessary in the construction too. The third section is the most important one. Here, you'll go into much more critical detail. To add to your own comments, you'll need to carry out a survey for this section to be as comprehensive and rounded as possible. Ask yourself and others the following questions. Firstly, was the reason for erecting the monument a valid one? For example, was it one that ordinary members of the public, the man or woman on the street, can readily relate to, and did it justify how much public money it cost? Was it a waste, or does it represent a sound cultural investment? Then, think about its emotional impact. When someone looks at it, how do they feel? Angry? Sad? Indifferent? And don't forget to consider how well the monument sits in its environment. Does it harmonize with it, or does it clash with it? And is that important? Does it add to the effect or take away from it? Right. Those guidelines should help. Oh, and remember, it is important to weigh up carefully how to make the maximum impact in this kind of critique within the number of words allowable. You don't get extra marks for lots of factual information. You get those for a well-constructed analysis. That's what counts, and that needs to be based on your personal opinion.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.